Bears fans, I don't really know what there's left to say about this season at this point. To call it a disappointment would be the understatement of a lifetime. Not only have we continued to suck and plummet, we've continued to have to watch our division rivals soar and do great things and beat us and beat other teams and put up points and look unstoppable and find miraculous ways to win, and we've done the exact opposite. If we want any silver lining from yesterday and the past couple weeks, we're not losing in heartbreaking ways anymore. You know, we don't have that high blood pressure from thinking, oh, maybe we're going to win this one and then we lose. So maybe that's the silver lining. We're back to losing in the traditional Bears way of just getting blown out and never looking like we have a chance. So maybe that's the plus. I don't know. At this point, I feel nothing about the Bears. I don't feel happy. I don't feel sad. I feel they have null and voided all of my emotions toward them and toward football this year. Last night I was watching the game. I'm like, yep, we're going to lose this one as well. I think a few minutes into the fourth, I turned it off. I'm going to continue my theme of not letting them ruin my day, and I'm going to preserve my peace. So I just turned it off because I knew we had no chance. Disappointed kind of in everybody. I mean, I can call out, of course, the rookie. I mean, he was put in a bad situation. He didn't even get any first team snaps, and he looked like it. He looked horrid. It was just bad all around, as we continue to be. Like, we're the laughing stocks of the league now, and I really hate that for us. I mean, there are some teams that are doing worse. The fact that we were supposed to be good, or at least we all thought we were going to be good, and most thought we were going to be at least decent, and we're absolutely the opposite of that, is rich. I guess we can look forward to the draft for the 225th time. I mean, at this point, you're grasping at straws, right? I mean, I'm an optimistic person. Yeah, we're going to get it together at some point. It ain't going to be this season, okay? So that's out of our mind. All the awards we thought Caleb and whoever else were going to win, Eberflus, Coach of the Year, all that's out the door. We're just preparing for next year, I guess.
I'm really starting to hate the 2024 version of the Chicago Bears. If it's not one thing, it's another. The team plays like they aren't coached well, and you know what? The roster ain't all that good either. All summer, I was called a hater because I was not on board with the stuff Ryan Poles was doing. Using a first-round draft pick on a wide receiver, using a fourth-round draft pick on a punter, using a third-round pick on a tackle from an Ivy, and making a running back the first free agent acquisition of the offseason. I ain't like none of that. I kept saying we need linemen. I kept saying Jonathan Greenard, Dallas Turner, Danielle Hunter, Xavier McKinley, and others would not only fill holes on this roster, but they were contention level additions to this roster that everyone thought was in win now mode. 3 of those players I named, they were signed by our division ops. 3 of them players have been terrorizing our franchise quarterback all season. If you didn't know Jonathan Greenard before tonight, you know him now. And I bet you Caleb Williams knows him very well. He ran right past that tackle Poles drafted in the 3rd round and blew Caleb's back up as if he was Ricky running down the alley in Boys in the Hood. You saw Dallas Turner run right around Darnell Wright and get another hit on Caleb in a long night of unnecessary hits on Caleb. Kyron Amagaji was drafted in the 3rd round by Ryan Poles. That's a high-ass pick for a player who debuts looking like that. In the future, he could be a Pro Bowler, maybe even an All-Pro one day. I don't know. I have no clue. But what I do know is that the lights were too bright for his debut. When he wasn't giving up sacks, he was getting flags for all of the I don't know what I'm doing type of plays. Too far down the field, false starting, holding. It was a night full of flags from poor execution from the Bears, but number 72 stood out way too far. Speaking of poor execution and that terrible coaching I mentioned earlier, after struggling to move the ball all first half, we finally got into the red zone. And who do I see in the backfield? Doug effing Kramer. First time since that Week 8 fumble against the Commanders. I'm saying to myself, boy, if they give him this ball again, I am grabbing my tiki torch and I'm headed right up to Lake Forest and staging an overthrow of every decision maker with the Bears. They called a play, and he actually laid a clean block to allow DeAndre Swift to run right up his backside into the end zone. I jumped out of my seat when I saw that block, like, oh man, he laid the wood on old boy. But don't get too excited. That's been the whole thing all season. Don't get too excited with this team. Because the play had to come back because number 68 did not report as eligible. What the He keeps getting put in the backfield, so he obviously has some type of background as a ball carrier. I'm assuming, but it clearly looks like he doesn't. First, he couldn't secure a clean handoff, and now he doesn't know to report that he's eligible? Come on, bro. That responsibility is all on him. But also, the guy who called the play, you got to make sure your guys know to do the basics. Hey, you're reporting right here. Don't forget that part. Again, I know Thomas Brown says the right things, and he's great at the podium, but the 2 games he's been HNIC ain't been good. And that goes back to that coaching. Oh, and don't think I'm letting Caleb and the defense off the hook either. Caleb was not sharp today. He was missing a lot of stuff, and the defense continually gave up third down conversions. A lot of them more than 10 yards. But I'm going to talk about them more in depth when we do our full review tomorrow. Lastly, there's a huge disconnect in Chicago between the front offices, the coaches, the players, and fan expectations. Whether it's veterans that might be washed because they can no longer catch the ball, to veterans that don't know they need to report when they're eligible, to defenders giving up on plays way too early. This team is rotten to the core, and it's about time we address that issue. Starting first day of the offseason, we need a new general manager. Thanks for listening to this latest edition from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And all my homies from Chicago, we say 3 things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.